Hi guys, Kim here. Welcome to Backyard Blooms. In today's video, we are here in the hydrangea garden, and it's that time of year for these blooms to start to dry on their stalks. So you can see this one is already starting to turn brown. And the reason that I'm wanting to remove some of these spent blooms is that we still have a lot of growing season left here in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're in zone 8 and we usually don't get a frost until sometime November, December, and maybe even January. So if I remove these spent blooms, we may still have some time to get some new blooms on our stalks. So I have my pop-up bag here, so I'm going to put all the dead blooms in here in my pop-up bag, which is convenient. And then some of the blooms that still look gorgeous, like this one, we're going to put in a vase in about that much water or so and let these completely dry in the vase, and then we'll have some gorgeous spent blooms to enjoy inside. So when I take these dead blooms off, I'm not going to completely remove a lot of the stem. So I want to encourage new growth since it's August still and we have a lot of growing season left. We don't really have a hard frost until, I'm going to say, late December, sometime January. So we have some time to encourage these blooms to produce some new growth. So what I'm going to do is just take the bud off of the ones that are starting to turn brown. And this one's not really brown, but you can see the brown there. And I just took just the bloom off itself, like I'm deadheading. And the ones that I'm going to keep, I've done this maybe a couple of weeks ago. Here's one that still looks really pretty. So this is a bloom that I like to keep and that I like to dry. So you can see that there's hardly any brown on it. Still got that great pink hues on there that we get in the fall time. And when you feel these blooms, you can tell that they're already starting to dry on the stalk. So they'll be really easy to dry in a vase. So when we do that, we're just taking all of these leaves off. So we don't want any of these leaves in our water. And this is what the bloom is going to look like when we put it in our vase, just like this. And when we do prune, I like to prune right above a set of leaves. That way that's where the new growth will encourage. If I have some really teeny tiny little stems, you can go ahead and remove those because we don't want this plant to encourage that kind of growth. And this is a little teeny tiny stem that I'm talking about. You can just go ahead and cut those all the way back if you'd like. There's another little spindly limb right here. So I'm going to take this mic off and then you're just going to see me getting to work. just to show you guys closer up here, this bloom has a lot of dead on it and it's not looking so pretty. So this is one that I might want to encourage some new growth. So I'm just going to take just the top bloom off and cut right there. You can see I had some jazzberries that I cut way back, and I'm trying to encourage those to have some new growth too. Just because these jazzberries underneath look dead doesn't mean that the plant is dead, and it does take a couple weeks to encourage some new growth, but you can see here that we're having some new growth on these stems, which in a couple of weeks we'll have some great new blooms that will last us until frost. So like I said, I'm just going to take a few of these off. I don't want to make this hydrangea hedge look completely bare. I'll take one off here. These two are really close together, so I'll take one off there. And I'll take this one off here. This is what I meant by spindly right here, but that one's still got some green on it, so we'll just leave it. But this one is a spindly one. So you can see that there's the large stem and this is the small stem, so we'll just take that off. This too, might as well go ahead and start making it look tidy. So this bloom doesn't look so great. Let me try to see, I know I've got some down here that still has some pretty color on it. These are the ones that either got trimmed by the deer or, I don't know, broken off, but we have some new growth there. So you can see the difference between the new growth and old growth. So this is what I'm trying to encourage, some new growth before winter. Look how pretty that is. When you really look at a plant close up, it's just gorgeous. Here's an older one. Looking up at the emerald green arborvitaes and this beautiful white flower from my magnolia. And I'm on a hunt for a good bloom that I can still dry indoor. Let's see. So this one looks good. And then I want to keep some of this stem, so I'm going to take it back to here. So I'm going to keep some length on it because I'm going to put it in a vase. And I'm going to have to go get that in just a second because it fell on me. Look how pretty this bloom is that's new. So you can see why I want to encourage some new growth. Alright, this bloom looks good to keep. So we're going to take it down to about right here. Make our cut there. So I'm just going to put it on the ground for right now. And we'll come back and remove all those leaves. This one looks good. have more dead blooms on the far end than I do this end. This end down here may have gotten some more watering. And these blooms here are looking gorgeous. So we can take some of those. So like I said, I want to keep some length. Let's come down here to the hydrangea tree. You can see that these limbs right here have flopped over a little bit. And you're going to expect that when you plant something for the first couple of years. I'd say it's probably going to take at least 3 to 4 years for these to really get established and really have an upright appearance to it like these do. And when you prune back in late winter, early spring, you're only going to prune these by 1/3 because you want to still have some sturdy stems. You don't want to cut all those sturdy stems off. And in the beginning, my first year or two, when I had my first heavy rain, let me see if I could lift this up and show you. When I had my first heavy rain, I bought these plant supports right here from Garden Supply. And I have them all the way down the garden here. I think I probably bought maybe 12 of them. And they interlace in between each other. There's where one is interlaced with the other. And that helps keep these stalks from laying completely on the ground where it would kill my sod. You can still see I'm not getting much sun there, but it does help. So that's an idea for you guys if you want to do something like that when you're first planting these hydrangeas. They're just not going to be sturdy enough the first year or two to hold these heavy blooms. So this one we can cut. Some of these little ones right here, go ahead and get rid of those. I'm just going to throw them on the ground since my pop-up bag's way down there. But what I was wanting to show you before I set my camera up in a different way is this hydrangea tree here. So this tree had so many heavy blooms that it was making my root ball fall towards my butterfly bush there. So I had to cut some of the blooms off. Let's see if I can come around here. These don't really look that spent yet. They're looking pretty good. But I have some on top. And the sun is really glaring in my eyes. I'm sorry. But this is where I had to really prune some of these heavy blooms off because it was completely moving the whole root ball. You can see where I'd already cut before some of the new growth. So I'll have a new bloom right here. So that's what I'm trying to encourage on the other side. But here on top, the very tip top, I have some dead that I don't really like, so I'm going to take those blooms out as well. Get a hold of it here, and you can see where this is just dead at the very top, and I could see it from the other side of the garden. Well, there's a few of those that I'm going to remove that look like that. This is one of them. This is another. This one as well. And this one too. Like I said, by doing this, I really want to encourage some new growth. This butterfly bush is looking gorgeous here. I had pruned her before, which encouraged some new growth right there. But then there's still some that I need to prune. Like this one. Can take it all the way back. This is my favorite butterfly bush right now by far. So you can see I still have a ton of blooms on these hydrangeas. And I'm going to just get to removing some of them so we can have some new growth here. Here's the hydrangeas that I cut this morning from my garden, just to let you know how to dry them. So I have them in a mason jar right here, and I only have about a couple inches of water. That's all, just enough for these fresh cut blooms to absorb a little bit of water, and then you just, whatever vase you're going to let them dry in, it's best to put them in that type of vase and let them dry naturally. So after these hydrangeas absorb the water, you just leave them and enjoy them all year round. I hope this video is informative. We took some of these old blooms off and threw them away to encourage some new growth. And some of the gorgeous blooms that we had on these hydrangeas we took inside to dry so we can enjoy them all winter long. Please don't forget to subscribe and like for me, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye. No. I'm not going to show you anything. What am I going to do? Everybody just keeps turning on their mowers. Just give up. Everybody is mowing. Are you kidding me?